and especially in the really fast growing indie game market. So we are here to more expand and explore more about the indie game market and to make more to grow it. So I hope the summit will be really productive for you and useful. So what I can say, let's get started. Please welcome the speaker from
today. So welcome to Bangalore, whoever is traveling over here from different parts of the country and in fact from the world. And it's a great day. We are all recovering from the shock, Unity shock. Hopefully some of the things that they've announced won't happen. But with that in mind, I would love to get the conference started with introducing the first speaker for the day. And we have a lot of speakers lined up for the day, so make sure that you are here till the very end. So let me introduce you all to Ramanujam Pobishetty from Data.ai. If you're here, please can you come on the stage? Yes, sir. So round of applause for our first speaker for the day. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Hit Games, for organizing this event. Really happy to be here and starting the keynote. I'm part of the sales team here at Data.ai. We are a market intelligence company. We work with app publishers, app developers, game developers, and a few non-mobile first companies as well. We serve the need for competitive intelligence in the mobile app industry today. Right? One is when you look at the Indian gaming industry, right? It's really big, and it is there's still a lot of headroom to grow. So I'm going to talk about the trends that you see in the gaming industry in India, and then the kind of export opportunities that exist for Indian companies outside India. And how can you think about how to scale and monetize? I'll start with trends from India. Right? Look at any data source, or even if you don't look at any data source, it's very evident that India is the biggest market for a huge margin. The second largest is a huge distant second. But that doesn't tell much of the story in itself. Right? There are a few that stand out. India is very big on hyper-casual games, simulation games. Right? If you've played any simulation game, name it and whatnot. Right? And of course, action and racing and tabletop games, which are your Ludo games, card games. These are all very, very popular in India. That's as far as just downloads are concerned. But where India there is still opportunity to grow is in terms of consumer spending on games. Right? Today, when you look at games in India, a lot of the monetization happens through advertising. And in-app purchase revenue for games is, by the way, growing really, really fast as well. Though it's not in the league of the top 10 yet. So when you look at where this growth is coming from, right? Shooting and strategy and role-playing games, right? All your PUBG. But one category that's also growing fast in terms of monetization are the simulation games, right? And the action games. So this is one emerging trend for you to look out for. But even among those, right, when you talk about simulation games, not all subgenres are made equal. Driving simulation is among the biggest already, but it's also growing at a really fast clip, right? So year on year, you're talking about nearly 20 plus million new downloads coming in from the H1, first half of 2023 alone compared to the previous year. That's how fast this is growing. And of course, the other thing is weapon simulator, right? This is another category which has been really growing fast, where Indian headquartered games that are doing really well. One is of course Ludo King, which everybody would have heard of or even played at some point, especially during COVID and beyond. And then a new leader there is the Indian Bike Driving 3D from Rohit Game Studio. And of course, when it comes to consumer spend, right, the categories that you will see here are vastly different from what you will see in terms of sheer downloads, right? Luck Battle, which is games such as your Coin Master, right? These are among the top games when it comes to in-app spending by Indian consumers and growing at a really, really huge pace. There again, when you look at worldwide monetization of Indian developers, right? Indian companies that are monetizing outside India, their Ludo Star and the Kidopia games lead the pack when it comes to monetization outside India. Here's where things get interesting, right? So while it's very evident that there's a lot to catch up in terms of in-app and consumer spending in India, there's a very interesting trend that we're seeing when it comes to IAP purchase behavior. The four games that you see here, they're all big on advertising revenue, no doubt, but they're also monetizing in very, very interesting ways. For instance, less than 4% of the Teen Patti revenue or purchase volumes comes from IAP, right, which is the 550 rupees or 549 rupee IAP, but it contributes to nearly 25% of their overall revenue. Yeah, and you will see this trend playing out again and again. It's not super clear, but I'll try and put it out, right? So the Teen Patti Gold has a pack of 25 million chips at $9.99, right? Just about 5-6% of the people who play this game or do purchase IAP purchase this SKU, but it contributes to almost 20% of their store revenue. So the key takeaway here is that you identify your niche, which is very attractive to your core audience, though it is small, and they will pay, right? And you will see this trend playing out in Ludo King, even in Real Cricket, right, or Teen Patti as well. Yeah, so identify that niche, even to monetize from India. Now, to look at the opportunities outside India, what we looked at is, what are the big trends that are happening in the rest of the world, and what is Indian gaming industry's contribution to these trends, and where do the opportunities lie? So when we looked at the top genres for rest of the world, you will see arcade and action, brain and puzzle, kids and family, simulation games, right? Not just in India, they're very popular outside India as well. And of course, RPG games. But where do Indian gaming companies contribute to these trends? You will see again, simulation, brain and puzzle, and arcade and action, and a few others, right? These are the games that are getting exported from India. But you see some gaps here, right? So, Indian developers don't have a play in the kids and family genre and the role-playing and strategy genre. Yeah? So this is where the world presents its opportunities and where there is scope for Indian companies to grow. You'll see that weapon simulators and tile matching games are growing really, really fast. And we do have a presence there, right? Indian companies have a significant presence there. Outside India, of course, Ludo King is number one across all genres, but Subway Surfers is the worldwide number one in terms of downloads, not just in India but outside India as well, right? You'll see Gun Simulator and Shock Taser Bank leading the charge. Yeah. And again, that's as far as just sheer downloads and reach are concerned, but when it comes to consumer spend, again, so it's a little different, right? Honor of Kings, MOBA, all of these games are breakout games in this genre. Yeah? In 2023 alone, we are seeing hyper growth on these subgenres outside India. Yeah? So, if you are making games to be exported outside the world, these are some of the genres or categories that you want to think about. Decided to make a certain game in a certain genre. Then how do you actually go about scaling this? Right? Where do you find your audience? If you're building a simulation sports game, where do you find your audience? What else are they doing online? Right? What other apps are they using? So there, simulation players are most likely to play arcade sports. Yeah? The affinity of simulation players is almost 7 times when it comes to arcade sports. And similarly with simulation racing as well and arcade racing. Yeah, so this is not always evident from user experience alone. This is where data can help you in actually puzzle games, which are also very big in India and for Indian developers audiences. So if you were to find your audience across these genres, the expectation is that the likelihood of conversion is a little higher. You want to think about monetization, right? At the end of the day, revenues have to kick in and you have to earn from the games that you build. And I want to talk to you about some of these opportunities that exist outside India especially, and also within India. When you're building for a market, so when you're building your feature or even when you're marketing a feature for your game, right, it's very important to think about how you should prioritize these monetization strategies. When you look at the United States, across genres, right, and we looked at the top 2 or 3 genres which are big on consumer spend in the US. Right? Most of their revenue comes from gacha loot boxes or a VIP or a battle pass. Yeah. So these are games which have a very high reach and they are also able to monetize that reach with huge revenues, right? Active users on the x-axis. And the heavy hitters are those that have loot boxes, battle passes and VIP. So when you are thinking about what IAP or what SKUs to prioritize in the market, you might want to think about putting these in first or even advertising the presence of these SKUs before anything else, right? And the least importance are subscriptions. People don't seem to care so much about subscriptions, at least for casino slots. Similar trends you will see play out in other genres as well. When you look at match genre, like the meta genre, you will see again battle pass being big and unlikely here is consumables. Yeah. So if you're looking at what kind of genre to build and how to monetize, if you're doing an L3 meta game, you might want to prioritize consumables over everything else to scale in the US. Right? And this changes in every market. Ludo Star, like I said, topped the game, the charts in terms of consumer spend worldwide. Right? TZ Town, My Princess game, the creative sandbox game that came in pretty big. Ludo King, we're all pretty familiar with already. So you'll see that there's a lot of diversity in these top games. It's not just the board games, but you will see a lot of these cosmetics and dress-up games and tiles coming in from India. I think that's very heartening trend. All right. Now, when you look at India, some of the things that really stood out was that some genres are either very big on consumer spend, but when we dig down a little deeper, at the end of the day, it's one game or a bunch of games that you are building, and what matters to that is what you should take away. When we looked at our data to see where some of the top apps are earning money, we saw that it's never either or scenario. Right? Some of the top games and apps across genres have both their streams of revenue kicking in. Some, of course, right, games, they are big on App Store revenue, not much on ad revenue. But if you look even there, right, Candy Crush and a few others, they are monetizing both through advertising and through in-app purchase revenue. Right? It's never either or. Okay. Small question before I wrap up. Which app do you think got the highest in-app purchase revenue worldwide in 2023 so far? The biggest in terms of in-app purchase revenue?
Monopoly?
Sorry?
Monopoly.
Monopoly Go, okay, good guess. It's definitely in the news. The biggest app to earn, an app that earned the highest in-app purchase revenue worldwide. Any other guesses? Only Monopoly Go? Nobody wants to take a guess?
Candy Crush?
Candy Crush, okay, again a good guess. But it's not Candy Crush, sorry? Coin Master, again pretty big, it's in the millions, but still not the biggest.
Royal Match.
That's a can.
By Dream Games.
No, it's actually YouTube. Yeah, the largest advertising. Sorry? Sorry? No, it's YouTube. Yeah, they are among the biggest when it comes to store revenue. Right? This is across platforms, but they're number one when it comes to iOS. Yeah, the biggest advertising platform also happens to be the biggest in terms of store revenue. Yeah, so I think if that doesn't motivate you, I think you should definitely think about both in-app purchases and advertising to monetize your business. Alright? Any questions? Okay. Thank you everyone.
Thank you so much.